I remember so vividly, years ago, I was working with a group of young people, and we went with a young lady to a Chinese restaurant on Chapel Street across from the Green a couple of years ago. And this young lady was with me, and we did our order. And the Chinese young man who was working the register clearly did his addition in his head, and she was like, "Whoa, did you just see that?" I said, "Oh, what?" He said, "Did you see he added up in his head?" And she said to me something I'll never forget. It's a well-known fact that Chinese people are smarter than black people. Mm-hmm. And I was just sort of so pained by that, right. that notion that, and the understanding that so many young African American people think that with regard to any number of people. Pretty much everybody else is smarter than we are. Right.
But you know, it's communicated all throughout the communities as well. For instance, you know, here in New Haven we have only two comprehensive high schools because the rest are all magnet and they have themes and so forth. Now, one, the perception is don't go there, it's dangerous. Why? Because that one is basically 98% black. You get the other one, they have about maybe 23% white. And so, but this is communicated through people riding the bus, this is communicated through relatives, it's communicated through sometimes even so-called professional people. Right. Well, you don't want to send your child there. So that it is communicated in so many different ways. It's communicated when they watch television. It is communicated when they're at the checkout stand at the grocery store. How many times?
Yes.
Do you look at, you know, Cosmo and the Cosmopolitan magazine, and you look at GQ and Family Circle? They don't include people who look like us. Right. And so when many times if there's a problem in the store and then somebody has to see the manager, oftentimes the manager doesn't look like you and I. So, or how many times when you want somebody to paint your house or to work on, you know, you better get somebody white, because you know those, look at television. Every show, all right, that has a cast of 75 or above that, black cast, is considered a comedy. Well, it is a comedy. There are no serious dramas or anything.
There are no educational programs that are geared towards African American children. Why, when you have networks such as
don't mention it.
I won't mention it. But you have people.
No, go ahead.
But you have people in positions who are able to produce quality educational programs,
program on
but
BET.
there are no educational programs. And so if you had educational programs and they were geared towards pre-K students, how powerful would that be if those students are able to see that on TV, see images that look like themselves, and started to learn and started to pick up vocabulary, so that prior to entering kindergarten, they learned some foundational skills and were able to compete right from kindergarten.
If you speak to a number of our children, the only basic images they see overwhelmingly are those who are in the recording business or those in the athletic arena. So consequently, when you ask a number of our children, not all of our children, but a number of our children, what do you want to do? Oh, I'm going to be a producer, I'm going to go to the NBA, I'm going to go to the NFL, because those are the images. The images that you see on all of those routines, whenever you have two or more persons of color together, they always have to cut on each other or talk about each other. And so consequently, what do you see whenever you get normally two or more of our children together? So, oh, you're so this, you're so that. And in this day and time, what really disturbs me is the disconnect with Africa. How many black families, will acknowledge any other ethnicity within the realms of that family except African? There'll be anything but that. So, you know, all of these things are communicated all the time with our children. And what we really have to do, first of all, more of us needs to know ourselves but
Oh, I was going to say, no, and I was just going to piggyback on that and say that more of us need to know ourselves and our history as much as we can. And we need to, you know, just as the media bombards us with other images, we need to bombard our children with our images, because they're not going to get it from someplace else. It's clear that that's not going to happen. So we have to talk to them about, you know, the black people who were inventors and scientists, who were writers, who were great thinkers, way ahead of their time. We have to talk to them about everyday people that they know.
And this was
excelled
really
in
the point.
school.
Carter G. Woodson is my hero. That was really the point of Black History Month, that we were supposed to be, not just during Black History Month, but we were supposed to be consistently talking to our young people to undo the miseducation of the Negro that took place during that, you know, long period of slavery.
And if you go in a number of quote-unquote so-called, you know, middle-class black homes, okay, look at the artwork on the wall. You'll see as many European faces as you do in other homes where, yes, you should find them. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but it's really something, because
I just want to take one break.
I see the break sign.
And let everyone know, let our viewers know that you are watching 21st Century Conversations, and we want to hear from you. We want you to invite you to visit our website. The website is www.oneworldpi.org. or send us an email at 21sttalk@yahoo.com, because we very much welcome your participation, and we really do want to hear from you. But we do want to go back to our conversation about the lie of black inferiority, how we overcome that, and how we do that in order to promote black student achievement. So go ahead. Let's focus on how we do it now. I mean, we've really spent a lot of time analyzing the problem.
Right. Well, at New Beginnings, we go on the assumption that we don't have that there aren't enough hours in a day to undo everything that happens out there, right?
And there's a lot happening over there. You've done a really good job of painting a picture of a really overwhelming stream of negative images.
And some people call that excuses, okay? So we go on the assumption that we can't change most of that. So what we do is we build a community, a self-contained community, quite frankly, not very familiar, you know, to the students once they leave. And we tell them, we've got this sort of saying, what you learn in here, do out there, but don't bring in here what happens out there. Because when you walk through the doors at New Beginnings, you're in, you know, a subculture, quite frankly. What
does that subculture look like?
Oh,
what would I see if I went in? Okay, okay.
It's burgundy and blue.
Do you kids wear uniforms?
Yes, our students are in uniforms. They start bright and early every day. Our doors open at 7:30. Our kids are in school until 4 o'clock every day, every afternoon. So they have a very long day. You know, we keep kids in school 11 months a year through July. It's, you know, some people call it abuse. We call it more time on task.
No union, huh?
We happen to be a unionized school.
You are?
We are a unionized school, one of the very few charter schools in the state of Connecticut that are unionized. This can happen even in a union school. It's all about the mindset. If you are a believer in children and you want to close the achievement gap, you use your union to work out your contract, and then you do whatever it takes to get the job done. So at New Beginnings Family Academy, you know, our mission is intelligence plus character is our ultimate goal. Who said that? Martin Luther King, right? He's the man. So kids can relate to him. They know exactly who he is. They may not know a whole lot about him, but they know they recognize him. And the bottom line is, you know, there's a very strict culture. There's a very strict code of discipline. All the children don't follow it, trust me. They don't, but it exists.
Their expectations.
And we hold them to it. I don't care what happens when you leave here. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do care, and we have lots of conversations about what happens out there, but that's no excuse for you not to do what's expected of you in here.
With the grade, it starts at grade?
Kindergarten, and we go through 8. So we're K through 8, and we have 360 students. So, I mean, I think I think it's really important to understand that our kids do come with a lot of stuff. They come with a lot of baggage, including low expectations, and but that's no excuse not to educate them. There is no excuse not to educate them. You bring those attitudes, the belief that children can achieve to the school. And everybody has to have it from top to bottom, and then they will. And at New Beginnings, you know, we have another thing that we say: every adult is responsible for every child in the building. So our custodial staff will stop a roaming kid in the hallway and send them back to class. And they may get a little pushback, you're not my teacher, and then they have to hear from me.